Whoa, that's harsh!
What's up, guys? In one of my recent videos I talked about my thoughts on Sonic Forces, but we have one more game that's coming out in a few months. Let's talk about Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania is being created by the fans of classic Sonic games who were previously making ROM hacks. The guys were so good at this that Sega decided to hire them, and after porting Sonic CD as well as Sonic 1 and 2 to mobile devices, they were allowed to make a standalone Sonic game. Sonic Mania has both reimagined familiar classic stages and completely new levels. As far as I know, the ratio is 60% reimagined old stages and 40% new stages. And here comes the first issue I have with Sonic Mania: the presence of all levels. Is it that necessary to include yet another version of Green Hill? Haven't we seen it like a million times already? By the way, I wrote the script before they revealed that Sonic Forces also has Green Hill, so that only reinforces my point. Aside from Green Hill, we are getting Flying Battery Zone from Sonic and Knuckles. It's a nice level, even though we haven't seen much of it yet. Everybody loves the music from this zone, and so do I. That said, I don't think it's the best zone to include. Lava Reef or the glorious Death Egg Zone would be way better, but maybe that's just me. My other issue with Mania lies in the level design. Yes, I said it. Don't bring the torches.
Let me explain.
From what we've seen, pretty much every stage has level structure similar to Sonic CD and Sonic 2. I will say it right away. I never liked Sonic CD level design. It is such a mess. It has no flow, no clever build. It is simply not interesting to explore. Sonic 2 is fine, but it is a bit too linear, and in my opinion is much inferior to Sonic 3 and Knuckles level design, which is perfection and love. I can see there is some potential in Mania stages, so I still have hope it will be really fun to play, both for speedrunning and for slower exploration-based gameplay. Out of all recent Sonic games, it is Sonic Mania that has multiple playable characters, and I love it!
Do you love me too?
Oh
yeah! It is much appreciated. I've been dying to play as somebody else than Sonic, even though I'd prefer to have this opportunity in 3D Sonic games, and to play as characters like Shadow, Silver, Blaze, Metal Sonic, etc. Knuckles and Tails haven't been playable in quite some time too, but they are the classic characters, which for many people makes them more respectable than newer characters, simply because they appeared in the classic era. It looks like Sega thinks the same, putting Tails, Knuckles and Amy in almost every game, even if they're just NPCs. I do like both Tails and Knuckles, and Mania is trying to mimic the classic era games, so I can understand if they are playable instead of newer characters, who don't even have classic forms. Like I have just said, Sonic Mania goes to all lengths to be just like a classic game, and for the most part it really succeeds at that. For the most part. You see, in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, the level design of which is perfection. Every single level was built with every character's unique abilities in mind. Tails had parts where he could fly and reach not only places with hidden items, but the whole new routes too. Same for Knuckles, who not only had his own exclusive routes, but his own versions of bosses, which were harder, making playing as Knuckles a kind of a hard mode of the game. Thing is, I don't really see that in Sonic Mania. Like I previously said, the levels feel a bit too straightforward and linear, with little room for Knuckles to use his climbing ability or for Tails to fly. In Sonic 3 and Knuckles you could do that and save time, but in Mania it feels like you will complete a level much faster if you just run like Sonic. I hope the developers come up with smart ways to utilize the abilities of Tails and Knuckles, so that they wouldn't feel inferior to Sonic, because they shouldn't be. I also don't like the inclusion of certain level objects like these barrels in Mirage Saloon. They do nothing but slow you down without giving you a nice way to maintain your speed. Another thing arising from the fact that this game tries so hard to mimic the classic Sonic games, and that it is being developed by former fans who are making ROM hacks in the past, is the overall feel of the game. Maybe it's just me, but it still kinda feels like a fan game. A high quality project, no doubt, but still a fan game trying to recreate what was already made 2 decades ago. The rehashed classic levels, those levels' music, even the recently shown robot characters feel like something you'd see in a ROM hack, design-wise. We haven't seen the bosses yet, so they might turn out awesome, but I'm not digging the Green Hill mini-boss, which does look just like something right out of a ROM hack. And if those new funky robot characters are going to replace Eggman boss fights, then that means Eggman is only going to appear once at the end, serving as the final boss. By the way, what is the story of Mania? Why are the characters visiting classic stages again? Where is Eggman? What is the purpose of these new robot characters? So many questions and no answers yet. With the bad or at least questionable moments having been talked about, let's get to the good tasty stuff. The momentum-based physics in Mania are as close to the classic Sonic games as possible, so I won't talk about it, but I thought I should mention it anyway. But making Sonic control and behave like in classic Sonic games is one thing, but recreating some small but fun, and in my opinion very important details is a whole different story. Take a look at this. See? That's what you call attention to detail. I wonder if you will be able to do one of my favorite tricks in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Speaking about attention to detail, I love the way the characters look in Mania. In most cases I prefer sprite-based platformers instead of 3D ones, and Mania has amazing Sonic sprites. Sonic, Tails and Knuckles were upgraded in a very natural way that makes them look more detailed, but at the same time they stay true to their original 16-bit designs. These sprites are on point! The new animations are brilliant as well. The levels also have some old and familiar things, and the new stuff which gives the feeling of true reimagining. You run through Green Hill and see all the familiar stuff, and then, whoa, this is new? It certainly deserves recognition. The style of the new levels with some small Easter eggs looks really nice. They probably look more like something from Sonic CD art style wise, but it's not a bad thing at all, even though I'm not a huge fan of their themes. They feel a little bit generic, and something you would totally expect from the American developers. I hope there is a new zone or two with something more original other than an obligatory casino-like stage and the Wild West location. Don't get me wrong guys, these stages look great, just a little bit generic to me. I do love the music of Studiopolis though, one of the best Sonic music tracks I heard in a few years. Mirage Saloon sounds nice too, but not nearly as awesome as the former. The main theme of the game sounds lovely. Oh, one more thing. I really like the transitions between the levels like in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. This is awesome. That's pretty much my thoughts on Sonic Mania so far. Be sure to like the video and leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. See ya!